In this video, I want to explain a very influential thought experiment due to Amartya Sen, which he called the paradox of the Paretian liberal. Another way of thinking about it, though, is just the idea that granting people some rights, basic rights, where they get to be decisive over what happens, is going to be incompatible with an ideal of efficiency, Pareto efficiency. That is, sometimes it will require us to embrace inefficient outcomes. So rights seem to require inefficiency. Let me briefly explain the thought experiment. Rather than using Sen's original case, which was related to somebody reading a racy novel, Lady Chatterley's Lover, I'll just use my own example, which will relate to use of vaccines. But the point is entirely general. It doesn't matter exactly what the example is that we use to discuss it. So suppose we have two people in our society. We've got a person I'll call Jones and a person called Smith. And Jones is an older person who is more susceptible, therefore, to getting ill from COVID-19, whereas Smith is a younger person. And we're interested in a sort of a social choice about taking into account their individual preferences about vaccination policy. How might a society decide on a policy of who to vaccinate and who not? And here are some possible states of affairs. We could have everyone be vaccinated. We could have no one vaccinated. We could have only Jones, or we could have only Smith. That seems to exhaust all the interesting possibilities here, given we're considering a simple two-person society. So I'm going to abbreviate these, call that E, that one can be N, that one can be J, and that one can be S. These are the names for the various states of affairs. And we're interested in a possible social choice rule. And the idea of a social choice rule is just Sen is trying to be very general about all the different ways you could pick policies. And what so he's not going to tell us exactly which social choice rule to use. That would make his argument too narrow. He wants to generalize, but he's saying we'd like a social choice rule that respects a Pareto condition, and that condition just means if everyone in the society prefers A to B, then the social choice rule had better rank A as higher than B, right? So everyone says A is better than B, then the social order, the social ranking should be that A is better than B. He also requires a condition of transitivity, which you can think of as a broadly rational condition, that if the social choice rule itself ranks A above B, but it also ranks B above C, well then it had better also rank A above C. If you violate this, you can see how there'd be these weird cases where the society thinks A is better than B is better than C, but C is also better than A. It seems like a society like that hasn't really made up its mind at all, not in any straightforwardly rational way. He further supposes some sort of liberalism condition, that individuals have some rights. We're going to have to be specific about exactly which rights we mean, and I'll explain how that works in a moment. And finally, there's a condition called universal domain, and this is a condition that basically says our social choice rule has to always give us an answer, no matter what configuration of initial preferences we get from society. It can't just sort of give up. So the way his argument's going to work is he's going to prove there is no social choice rule that has all these things. And since transitivity and universal domain seem kind of like formal requirements that every decent social choice rule should have, really these are the substantive things. And the surprising thing, therefore, is that individuals having rights seems to make it impossible to satisfy the Pareto condition. Okay, so let's now work through how that argument's going to go. Ooh, overdid that. Let's try that again. Why is it selecting everything? There we go. So, Jones is very much in favour of vaccines, right? So Jones' most favoured outcome is everyone be vaccinated. And Jones's least favoured outcome is that no one be vaccinated. But Jones actually believes it would be better if it was only one person. He would prefer that Smith be vaccinated rather than Jones himself. It doesn't really matter why he thinks that. We can suppose it's could be sort of because he's incredibly afraid of needles, or maybe he believes that it's really beneficial for society that someone like Smith be vaccinated because Smith moves around more than Jones, and so it might contribute more to sort of reducing infections overall. But the exact details of why he has that view doesn't matter. The point is, this is his ranking. Okay. What about Smith? Well, let's say Smith is actually sort of against vaccines. He has some sort of aversion to the idea of people getting vaccinated. So he'd prefer nobody get vaccinated. And his worst outcome is everyone being vaccinated. But in between, he actually agrees, look, if somebody has to be vaccinated, Smith agrees with Jones, it would be better if Smith were the one who got the only vaccine. Maybe because he has similar ideas about it being beneficial for herd immunity if younger people who move around more get vaccinated rather than older. Okay. Now, what will our social ordering look like given we appeal to these conditions of a Pareto condition and individuals having rights? Well, I'm going to assume that people have rights over whether or not they themselves have to take a vaccine. So that means whenever it's a choice between, say, Jones choosing whether Jones is vaccinated or nobody is vaccinated, the only person who's affected by that is Jones. Well, Jones's preference should be decisive. In the case of Smith, Smith should be decisive over whether Smith or no one is vaccinated. So we can write in, on the basis of these rights that we assume that Smith and Jones have, our social ordering says no one being vaccinated is preferable to Smith being vaccinated, and Jones being vaccinated is preferable to no one being vaccinated. Because of transitivity, we can put those together and we can say Jones being vaccinated is not only better than no one being vaccinated, but also better than Smith being vaccinated. Okay, but remember the Pareto condition. The Pareto condition said if everybody has a preference, then that preference has to be in our social ordering. And everybody has the preference that it's better for Smith to be vaccinated than Jones if only one is going to be vaccinated. So there's a contradiction between saying Jones is ranked higher than Smith and Smith is ranked higher than Jones. If you're going to respect people's rights, you have to reject what the Pareto condition tells you. That in short, is the reason why Sen argues admitting basic rights makes it impossible to have a social choice rule that respects the Pareto condition.